Okay, this is a nice start to the walk. Take a look at it in the My file. The first thing is you were meant to reference in your character and not import it. But I can see you just imported it because there's nothing in the reference editor. And normally what you would do is you'd fix the rig in the rig file, but not in this file because you want to always have a clean rig to work with. And it's possible to get the animation out and bring the rig back in and put the animation back on it, and I can show you that if you send me your clean rig file. But you said something about there are two hair fly away from her head. Anyway, that's where, just turn this off for a minute. Let's just, yeah, it says reference here too, is the weird thing. So I don't know. Oh, that's interesting. When I reset the pose, it bends her arm backwards. Well, you should send me the rig file, the clean rig file where it's not in the scene and it doesn't have the animation on it, because already this is broken here before the animation is even begun. So it's going to be hard to troubleshoot if I don't know the starting position of those pieces. Also, you were meant to make a shot camera, so I don't know. Is that one of these? I don't know. But you're supposed to make a camera that represents the camera that's going to be the... Oh god, and now this is broken too. Oh, that went away. Alright. So also, you're going to want it... This isn't really much of a start pose. It's just, it looks too much like a perfectly symmetrical default pose. And then, when the character's walking, you're going to want to do stuff like let's turn on curves, like tilt the hips, and then you can do these the opposite. Then I'll adjust the arm out a little bit. Oh, didn't have auto keyframe on. Let's try that again. Go to this pose. Okay, so the hips are usually rotated forward towards the hip that's carrying the weight, and also up towards the hip that's carrying the weight. Maybe you want to do that with this guy actually. Okay. And then you'll want to counter animate these. So if the hips are that way, the shoulders should be this way. And I'm exaggerating it to make the point, but and then adjust the arms accordingly. So, and then here, it'll be a little bit more even. And then here, you'll do. Well, actually, no. So here, this hip is carrying the weight. So, you could have it, again, sort of tilted. Even more so in this actually pose than in the last one. Again, I'm exaggerating, to make the point. And the root should be centered over the foot carrying the weight. But yeah, obviously that's too exaggerated. But the point is, hip rotated forward to the foot carrying the weight. I mean, the weight is already starting to shift to this foot at this point. And then up towards foot carrying the weight, and then the shoulders counter animated, the opposite of what the hips are doing. And now, she's putting weight on that foot. Yeah, so when this foot's in the air, that means all the weight's on this other foot. But, in these poses, I mean, it'd be really good to look at some reference. I don't know if you did that for this walk. But again, I'm over exaggerating to kind of make the point. But and then root should be centered over the foot carrying the weight, which is this one. It's too exaggerated. But I think the point is, I'm not doing a really good job with this. You really need to be looking at the reference. The point is, you need to get the hips and the spine and the neck and the shoulders and all that stuff involved. That's the most important part. That's more important than the legs and the arms and all that stuff. So I've exaggerated much too much, but just to kind of make the point that you need to move those. So that's the big thing to work on. And then, when you have, it's weird because you didn't keyframe everything every pose, so and I just sort of like correct for the head, kind of keep the head pretty straight in all of these. So yeah, I mean that's too exaggerated, but I'm trying to make a point here, is that you should be moving those hips, spine, neck, head, all of that stuff. Really important in the walk. So I think go back over your poses and get those controls involved with them as well. And then send me the rig file and we can take a look at the hair things, because I can't really fix them in here. You should have a clean rig file and you're supposed to reference that in. You're not supposed to import it into your scene.